So in this video we are discussing about optimum codes. So we are doing a question. So through this question we will understand what optimum codes are. So it says that a source is emitting four symbols S1, S2, S3 and S4. Okay, so these are the four symbols which a source can emit. Then these symbols are encoded by various coding techniques. So now it says that these symbols are encoded by various coding techniques to generate corresponding codes below. So A is a coding technique, B is a coding technique, C is a coding technique and D is also a coding technique. So it is generating four different codes using four different coding techniques. So we have to match the following. A, B, C, D are the coding techniques. So it says uniquely decodable but not prefix code W. Then X says singular code, Y says prefix or instantaneous code, and Z is non-singular but not uniquely decodable code. So we have to match these following. Now, first of all, what is a singular code? What is a singular code? If two different symbols are represented by same binary code, if two different symbols are represented by same binary code, then that is called as a singular code. Now see here, S1 is represented by 0 0 and S3 is also represented by 0 0 only. Then S2 is represented by 0 1 and S4 is also represented by 0 1. So A is a singular code. So A is a singular code, so A is matching with X. Now if suppose if I receive 0 0, if I receive 0 0, then this 0 0 can be S1 or S2. We do not know what symbol was sent. If I have received 0 0, then the transmitter can have sent S1 also and S3 also. We cannot decode it uniquely. We cannot decode it uniquely. Similarly, if 0 1 is received, if 0 1 is received, then it means either S2 can be sent or S4 could be sent by the receiver. If receiver is sending, if we are receiving 0 1, then the transmitter could have sent S2 also or S4 also. We do not know, or we cannot say by 100% surety that which one was sent. S2 could also be sent or S4 could also be sent. We cannot say by surety which code was sent. So a singular code is always non-uniquely decodable. A singular code is always non-uniquely decodable. So singular code is not a optimum code. Singular code is not a optimum code. Okay, not a optimum code. Because singular code cannot be decoded uniquely. Now if we see B, if we see the coding technique B, then if we have received 0 1 0, now we are looking at this technique B. If we have received 0 1 0, then 0 1 0 means now in B all the symbols are assigned unique code. All the symbols are assigned different codes. S1 is assigned 0, S2 is assigned 0 1 0, S3 is assigned 0 1 and S4 is assigned 1 0. So B is a non-singular code. B is non-singular code. B is non-singular code. But is it uniquely decodable? No. B is a non-singular code but it is not uniquely decodable. Now see, I have taken, if we have received 0 1 0, then we could have received S2 also. We could have received S2 also. Also we could have received S3 S1 also. We could have received S3 S1 also. Because S3 is 0 1 and S1 is 0. So 0 1 0 means either S2 is received or S3 S1 is received. Or we could also have received S1 and S4. S1 S4, because S1 is 0 and S4 is 1 0. So 0 1 0 we can either take that S2 was received, or 0 1 0 we can break into two parts like this. So 0 1 is S3 and 0 is S1. Also 0 1 0 we can break into two parts like this. So 0 is S1 and 1 0 is S4. So again, B is a non-singular code but it is not uniquely decodable. See, because we have three ways to decode 0 1 0. We have three ways to decode 010. These are the three ways to decode 010. So B is a non-singular code but not uniquely decodable. So B is matching with Z. Now, now if we take example C, if we take example C, if we take example C, then if we have received, if we have received 110010, now we are taking example of C and we have received 1100 and 10. Okay, so if we received 1, then it does not match with any of it here. Now 11, now 11 matches with S3. See, 11 matches with S3, but we have to wait for further bits because the next bit could be 0 and it could match with S4. See, if we have received 1, then it does not match with any of these bits here. But if we have received 1 1, but we have received 1 1, but we cannot decode it as S3 right now. We cannot decode it as S3 right now. We have to wait for the future bits. We have to wait for future bits. We have to wait for future bits in case of technique C. Okay, now we have received 110. Now we have received 110. But we cannot code it as S4 also. We cannot code it as S4 also because we have to again wait for the future bits. Now the future bits are 0, 1 and 0. Suppose if we decode this as S4, now we cannot decode this. If we receive 110010 and if we have decoded first three symbols as S4, now we cannot decode 010 because 010 does not match with any of the symbols in this C. So so in this example we have to wait for all the future bits to appear to decode the code. So this code is uniquely decodable. This code is uniquely decodable, but it is not a prefix code. But it is not a prefix code. Prefix code is a instantaneous code. Prefix code is also called as instantaneous code because in a prefix code we do not have to wait for the future bits. So if 110010 is received, then it has to be decoded as S3, then 00 has to be decoded as S2 and 10 has to be decoded as S1. Okay, so this is the only way. This is the only way to decode this. This is the only way to decode this received sequence. But we have to wait for all the bits to decode it. Okay, so this is C is also a uniquely decodable code, but it is not a prefix code. We cannot decode this sequence in any other way. If we are using this C, then we cannot decode this received sequence in any other way than S3, S2, S1. But we have to wait for all the future bits to appear to decode it. So C is a uniquely decodable but not prefix code. So I hope you understand the concept that we have to wait for future bits to decode it. If we do not wait for the future bits, then we can run into a situation where we cannot decode a sequence. For example, if we decode here, if we decode 110 as S, if we decode 110 as S4, then we cannot decode this sequence. So it results into an error. Okay, so now come to sequence D. Come to sequence D. So if we have, so in a sequence D is a prefix code. The sequence D is a prefix code, and prefix code is always a uniquely decodable code. A prefix code is always a uniquely decodable code. See, what is a prefix code? First we have to understand what is a prefix code. In a prefix code, no code is prefix of other code word. No code word is prefix of other code word. No code word is prefix of any other code word. No code word is prefix of any other code word. This is called as a prefix code. See, if you see here, then this 01 was the prefix of this 010. If you see in C, 11 was prefix of 110. Okay, because 110 can be broken into two parts, 11 and 0, and 11 is equal to S3. Similarly, 010 can be broken into two parts, 01 and 0, and 01 is equal to S3. But in D, no code word is prefix of any other code word. So, the coding technique D is a prefix code, and a prefix code is always a uniquely decodable code. A prefix code is always a uniquely decodable code. Suppose if we have received 100110, then it can be decoded instantly. Its property is it can be decoded instantly. A prefix code can be decoded instantly. A prefix code can be decoded instantly. We do not have to wait for the future bits. We do not have to wait for the future bits. So 100110 will be when we have received 10, then we can decode it as S2. When we have received 0 and it matches with S1, so we can instantly decode it as S1. And we have received 110, it matches with S3, so we can instantly decode it as S3. So whenever we receive a code word and it matches with any symbol, then we can instantly decode it in D. But that is not possible in C, because C is not a prefix code or an instantaneous code. Okay, so a optimal code must be a non-singular code and it must be a prefix code. Okay, optimal code, the means we have to select the best coding technique. So a best coding technique generates a optimal code, and the optimum code is a prefix code and a non-singular code. Okay, then the other property of the optimum code is it should have minimum code length. The optimum code should have minimum average code length. The code length should be minimum average code length, minimum average code length. Okay, so how to calculate this? Suppose symbol S1 is occurring with probability 0.5, symbol S2 is occurring with probability 0.25, symbol S3 is occurring with probability 0.125, and symbol S4 is also occurring with probability 0.125. Now one thing you see is in D is a variable length code. In A, all the symbols have code length 2. This is also length 2, this is also length 2, this is also length 2, this is also length 2. So this is a fixed length code, this is a fixed length code, whereas all others are variable length codes. All others are variable length codes. See, here S1 has length 1, S2 has length 3, S3 has length 2, and S4 has length 2. So this is also a variable length code. Here S1 has length 2, S2 has length 2, S3 has length 2, S4 has length 3. So this is also a variable length code, and obviously D is also a variable length code. So only A is fixed length code, all others are variable length codes. So how to find the average code length? How to find the average code length? If we suppose we have to find the average code length for D, then multiply the probability by the length. So for S1, the probability is 0.5 and length is 1, so 0.5. Then for S2, probability is 0.25 and length is 2, so 2 into 0.25. Then for S3, the probability is 0.135 and length is 3, so 0.125 into 3. Then for S4, probability is 0.125 and length is 3, so 0.125 into 3. Okay, so this is equal to 0.5 plus 0.5, so it will be equal to 1. This will be equal to 1, and 1 plus 0.125 into 3, 0.125 into 3. So it will be for the average code length for D will be 1.75 and unit is bits per symbol. Bits per symbol. Bits per symbol. So we have the another property of the optimal code, that it should be non-singular code, it should be prefix code, and it should have minimum average code length. It should have minimum average code length. So what we want is a symbol with high probability should be represented with less number of bits. A symbol with high probability should be represented with less number of bits, and a symbol with low probability should be represented with high number of bits. See here, S1 has high probability. S1 has the highest probability in this 0.5. So it is represented by only 1 bit. Now, and here S4 has the lowest probability. S3 and S4 have the lowest probability 0.125 and 0.125. So they are represented by length 3. So we want the code length to be minimum. We want the code length to be minimum for a optimal code. Okay, so this is how we can find the minimum average code length. And when we do encoding, then we basically use two types of coding techniques. We can either use Huffman and we can use Shannon-Fano. Okay, so both these coding techniques will generate prefix and uniquely decodable codes. Both these coding techniques will generate prefix and uniquely decodable codes. So we use these two coding techniques, but out of these two coding techniques, the Huffman technique will generate the minimum average code length, because Huffman is the most greedy technique. So Huffman technique will guarantee you the minimum average code length, whereas the Shannon-Fano may have a larger average code length. Huffman coding will guarantee that it will generate the minimum average code length possible. Okay, so uh, if we have to generate a code with minimum average code length, then we use Huffman coding technique. But Huffman coding technique is more difficult to implement. So, but we use Huffman coding techniques for minimum average code length. So, I hope you understood the video, and please like and share the video and subscribe the channel, and thank you.